Working families marching in Madison were uplifted and inspired each day of the rallies as firefighters, some in uniform and fire hats carrying Firefighters for Labor signs, marched with them, bagpipes and drums playing. Madison Firefighters Local 311 President Joe Conway expressed his solidarity from the state capitol steps Thursday.
When Scott Walker drew that line and tried to separate out labor from the firefighters and the police officers, we knew what we had to do. Whenever a line is drawn, we are on the side of all of labor.
Republicans in the state Senate couldn't vote to kill collective bargaining rights Thursday because Democratic senators went to Illinois, preventing a quorum required for the vote. Protesters in the rotunda cheered at the news. Mary Newton is a teacher from Janesville, Wisconsin.
I'm just so glad that the firemen came in today and supported us. I cried. I'm so glad I emailed Tim Cullen because he led the Democrats out, and they're in Illinois right now, which is not too far away, and so they can't vote. I just can't understand why this is a budget issue. It's not a budget issue. It's about taking away our rights.
Teachers have shut down schools to protest the attack on collective bargaining rights. Wisconsin's capital continues to reverberate with the sound and fury of workers and students united. On Saturday, February 19th, Madison witnessed the biggest pro-labor rally yet, as about 100,000 people rallied in the frigid temperature, with thousands more inside during the day and hundreds of protesters, including police officers and firefighters, sleeping overnight in the capital occupation city.
We'll be right back. You're listening to Making Contact, a production of the National Radio Project. If you'd like more information or for CD copies of this program, please call 800-529-5736. Because of listeners like you, this show is distributed for free to radio stations in the U.S., Canada, and South Africa. To find out how to support us, download shows, or get our podcasts, go to radioproject.org. We now return to the first of a two-part retrospective on the 2011 Wisconsin Workers' Uprising, produced by Workers Independent News and narrated by Doug Cunningham.
This is no more about the deficit than the war in Iraq was about those imaginary weapons of mass destruction. The governor is doing this because he hates unions and he hates state workers. And this is his way to pay off his friends who helped him get elected. Those rich persons and corporations are not being asked to sacrifice at all. Only you who will struggle financially are being asked to sacrifice. There is one last word. Let me give you one last word from the Bible. Jesus said, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Is this what you would like done to you, Governor Walker?
February 21st, the third Monday of the month, and the South Central Federation of Labor, the regional body of the AFL-CIO, meets. The Federation is in the eye of the storm and in an unprecedented situation. 75 local unions belong to the Federation. It coordinates political and other actions in the city of Madison and surrounding counties. As thousands are camped out in the state capitol and workers from all over the state are converging on Madison, delegates begin to discuss what organized labor should do. The following motions were passed by the South Central Federation of Labor Monday, February 21st. Motion 1, quote, "The South Central Federation of Labor endorses a statewide general strike, possibly for the day Walker signs his, quote, budget repair bill."
Inside the capital occupation city, several large poster-sized sheets were taped to the marble wall of the Capitol that read, "In the event of a general strike, I vow to support workers." There were hundreds of signatures on those petitions vowing to support a general strike, including this man from Madison.
Standing up for your neighbors and taking care of each other, that's what unions are about. That's what, civil society is about. So, absolutely, if my neighbor loses his job or gets laid off, he's welcome in my home and I'll support him. We have steam fitters here, we have steel workers here, firefighters, police, cops. These are everyday people that kind of hold society together, and this bill is just wrong. It's trying to tear that down.
Gary Lave of Poynette, Wisconsin, also was signing the general strike vow of support. He says he's related to former Wisconsin Governor Gaylord Nelson.
Gaylord Nelson was my second cousin. He started collective bargaining when he was governor. Where should he? Right here. Carry on, people, carry on.
As news of this general strike authorization began galvanizing workers even more in this struggle, another bit of bizarre news broke on Monday, February 21st. Ian Murphy of the Buffalo Beast website called Walker posing as the billionaire David Koch and got Walker to speak to him for 20 minutes about Walker's efforts to smash public unions.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott. Once you crush these bastards, I'll fly you out to Cali and really show you a good time.
All right, that would be outstanding.
Walker also told Koch he had thought about planting some troublemakers within the pro-union protesters' ranks in Madison. Walker, still thinking he was talking to Koch, compared himself to Ronald Reagan when Reagan smashed the Patco Union just after taking office. Walker believes it was a defining moment for Reagan's political career. Walker seemed to have Reagan fantasies for himself with the effort to bust Wisconsin public unions. And it just may define Walker's political career, although perhaps not in the way that Walker would like. Walker talked about tricking the Democratic state senators into coming back to the Capitol to talk with him in his office so Republicans could use a technicality to go ahead and vote to end collective bargaining. Walker and the fake David Koch had a good chuckle together when Koch suggested Walker bring a baseball bat to his meeting with Democratic senators.
Bring a baseball bat. That's what I
have one in my office. You'll be happy with that.
Another day, another high-energy protest of thousands at Wisconsin's state capitol in Madison as resistance continues to an attempt to destroy collective bargaining rights for public workers. Solidarity rallies were held in 38 states to protest attacks on collective bargaining rights for public workers, and the Egyptian labor movement has expressed its solidarity with Wisconsin workers. Wisconsin Education Association President Mary Bell.
This is not about pay. This is not about benefits. This is about busting the force of the workers, the voice of the workers in their workplace.
A free Rock for Your Rights concert featuring Tom Morello, Wayne Kramer, and others drew thousands in Madison as protests rang through the city's Capitol Square and echoed off the marble walls inside the Capitol Rotunda Monday night. The 14 Democrats in Wisconsin's Senate held firm, staying away to block a vote on the bill that would strip collective bargaining rights from public workers. Workers are on the march to defend collective bargaining in Ohio's state capitol as well. Republicans there are also trying to push through legislation ending union rights for state workers. AFSCME's Stacey Benson Taylor.
AFSCME is taking 14 to 15 buses from around the state up to the State House so that we can rally other unions. The transit union, many of the private sector unions are also taking buses up so that we can stand in solidarity against this attack on public employees.
This is Democracy Now!, and we're broadcasting from the state capitol in Wisconsin. Juan Gonzalez is in New York, and on the line with us is a man who'd usually be right here in this building. He is Wisconsin State Senator Chris Larson, but he's not. He's in Illinois, along with the 13 other Democrats who make up the state Senate, the Democratic senators in the Wisconsin State Senate. Senator Larson, explain why you're still in Illinois and your reaction to the surprise overnight vote that was taken in the Assembly in favor of Governor Walker's budget bill.
Well, Amy, thank you very much for having me on. The main reason those things kind of joined together, the reason why we're still here in Illinois is because of what happened early this morning, which is this bill this backwards budget bill that serves as a Trojan horse to destroy workers' rights, to cripple Medicaid, Medicare, and Badger Care, as well as create political appointments and do no-bid contracting, because that was rammed through with very little response.
I think we just lost the state senator, Chris Larson. So we're going to turn right away now to our next guest, who's live right here in the Capitol. His name is Malin Mitchell. He's president of the Wisconsin Professional Firefighters Association. We interviewed you earlier in the week. It's a pleasure to have you with us here. Your union is not targeted by Governor Walker, and yet you're joining with the Professional Policemen's Association in joining with the teachers and the other unions who are targeted. Why?
Well, we had to decide, make a decision. We know the governor was trying to conquer and divide us. This is a huge attack on the middle class. He's basically trying to separate the middle class, separate the unions, pit us against ourselves, and get rid of unions and collective bargaining. And we couldn't just sit by and let that happen. We think collective bargaining right is a right that we've had for 75 years that helps bring the middle class up as opposed to where they want to keep us, middle class here. We think it's important that we all band together, so that's why our union came out and we strongly oppose the bill.
You slept here the other night?
I did. I slept here. Me and 60 other firefighters slept here. There were about 600 people total. We did hear that they possibly were going to close down the Capitol. They did not do that. We hope that we had a little something to do with that, but we slept here. I can tell you the floors are hard, but I feel for it, and I commend all the people that have been here every day, day in and day out, to help exercise their right. I mean, it's really impressive.
What is your perspective on why Governor Walker is pushing through this legislation and why you consider it anti-union?
Well, it's anti-union because all the collective bargaining provisions that are in the bill, decertifying certain unions, having to take a call and a vote every year to recertify your union, not being able to collect union dues through payroll. That's all anti-union material. What he's not talking about is the collective bargaining provisions that take away the rights of American workers, Wisconsin workers. What he is talking about is the health insurance pay-in and the pension pay-in, which every state worker has agreed to pay. They've agreed to make concessions. So this is not about money. This is not about the budget, because if it were, he could take those collective bargaining provisions out, and this bill would easily pass. But he doesn't want to do that because he's trying to break up the unions, and this is a way that he can do it through the back door.
Your reaction to the tape, this gonzo journalist from Buffalo calling up, acting like he was the billionaire funder David Koch, and getting right through to the governor in a way that these state senators and legislators haven't been able to, and asking the governor, for example, about why not bring in troublemakers here. This has deeply alarmed the police chief here in Wisconsin, and he wants to speak to the governor now. And he said it was something that he considered.
Well, first of all, the phone call. I think that shows how unreasonable Governor Walker is and who he does take calls from. Obviously, it's big corporate donors. That's what this is all about. It shows that he's not here to help take care of the Wisconsinites. He's here to help and take care of his corporate backers. I think he used the term ratchet up layoffs. I mean, these are people's lives that we're talking about. When you're talking about, this is like a political game to him. He's talking about 5,000, maybe ranch it up to 6,000 layoffs. Well, this is not a game to us. This is serious business. These are people's lives that we're dealing with here, and this is not a political game to us. So I think it shows where he really is and who he's going to take care of.
Wisconsin has a remarkable union tradition. AFSCME was founded in 1932 here, the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees. And it's extremely interesting because, in fact, Dr. King in 1968 in April went to Memphis to help union organize the sanitation workers, the local AFSCME 1733. It was there that he was assassinated. He died organizing with the sanitation workers of AFSCME. Your thoughts here in Wisconsin?
Well, it just shows how important union work is and how important the union is to the middle class. There is not one employee, public employee, state, municipal, local employee, firefighter, police officer, teacher, that does their job to get rich. We don't do our job to get rich. We do our job to have a decent life, to have a decent middle-class family, and not have to struggle like a lot of our other people do. Well, what this bill will in essence do is bring the middle class back down lower. And that's really where the governor wants and the corporate backers want us, so that we have less power and we have less influence on elections. So this is not about just unionism. This is about attack on the middle class. This is about Wisconsinites, and this is a hardworking Midwest state, and we need unions to help take care of our middle class.
Well, Malin Mitchell, I want to thank you very much for being with us, president of the Wisconsin Professional Firefighters Association. Any words for firefighters around the country right now?
We've been getting an outpouring of support. Keep it coming. We appreciate it. We're going to fight this battle until it's done, and we're going to make sure we get the job done right.